Hello everyone, you are welcome to today's class, which is going to be focusing on the last element on variables, and this is where we'll be talking about variable scope. When you write programs in any language at all, you need to be familiar with the concept of scope of variables. Typically we talk about two types of scope, even though some technical and advanced users can tell you there are more options, but I'll keep my conversation to two. You can have local variables that will have local scope, and you can have variables that will have global scope. The easiest way for you to enjoy this message is for us to cut into our code environment and see how this is exemplified there. So I'm coming into my VS Code. I need to create a file. I'll call it scope.py. So that gives me a blank environment in which I can write code. So I can put x here as my variable and assign it a value of 2. Of course, you can go as far as doing this and say my x is going to have a value of 2. Just one moment. And then somewhere down here, I can print this message out and say global value of x is something. So this is a placeholder. There is an option for you to just say format and you send in the value of x in here. This is a basic program that has created the memory location x, which is going to be an integer, and it has assigned a value of 2 to it, and it's displaying the message down to say, let us check the global variable x and see what is in there. I can go in here and say run this file, and it tells me in the result the global value of x is 2. That is what we expect. There is nothing exceptional about this. And that is the global value of x because this is the x that is declared at the beginning of the code, or it could be at any other part of the code, but it is visible in all parts of this file scope.py. Now let's introduce a little bit of variation to this, and we will bring in local variable. This is something we haven't done, but I will implement it. We'll learn more about it later. Let's say I want to display some numbers on the screen, and I'm saying give me a set of numbers in the range of 5. Technically, what this does is it looks through 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't include 5. So it starts from 0, it goes all the way to 5. If I want 1 to be included, then I'll say go from 1 through, okay, sorry, my bracket here, this is my bad. I'm going to put 1 here as the starting position, and then I can say 6 is going to be the end of it, but 6 will not be part of what will be worked on. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am moving in a step of 1. So I start from 1, I end at just before 6, which is going to be 5, and I'm moving one step at a time. So I'm saying if this is going to be possible, give me all the items in that range. Typically when you print this out and you say print item, I'm just trying to show you what this looks like. You will see all of the items in that range printed for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it tells you the global value of x is still 2. That's not where we're going. The point I am interested in stressing here is this. If I put results as my variable and I say x raised to power item is the task that I want to perform, and I come down in here and say give me a statement, the result of x raised to power something is something. Okay, I'm just putting placeholders here. Then I can go to the end of the statement and format it. I need to pass 3 parameters because I have created 3 placeholders. So the first element is going to be X, because that is the first thing I am passing. The second element is going to be item, which is this. And then the third element is going to be my result. So it will be the result of X raised to power item is the result. So we will see this. Then we will want to check whether it's going to be able to see X or not. So if we run this code, it comes back here and gives us the result. The result of 2 raised to power 1 is 2. The result of 2 raised to power 2 is 4, and so on and so forth. So the global value of X is 2. What the program has done is, while executing this block of code, it looks for X within this block. It can't find any local X declared. So it goes outside and it's using the global value of X, which has been set up as 2. And that's why the result shows X being 2 all the way. Now, I can flip this on its head by saying, I do not want X to be 2 all the way. Rather, I'll come in here and say X is 3. When you make this modification, you need to ask yourself, when the program runs again, is it going to use X is equal to 3 when displaying all of these messages, or it will use X is equal to 2? You may need to pause and think about that. And this is where the concept of scope is really seen. What this program has done, that modification on line 4, is saying X is equal to 3 within this block of code. X is equal to 2 at the global level. Global meaning within the entire file. Outside this block, X is 2. But within this block, X is 3. So when this code executes, I expect it to use 3 in the internal calculation here and not 2. And you will see what the outcome is going to be. Just a moment. We run this and it tells us the result of 3 raised to power 1 is 1, 3 raised to power 2 is 9, 3 raised to power 3 is 27, and so on and so forth. And you guess what it has done? It has overwritten the content of X, which used to be 2, by 3. But this is now the value that is contained in here. And when you say global value of X is what? It is no longer 2 that it used to be. Rather, it is now 3, because this element here has overwritten it. This is a local variable here, but it's actually overwriting what you previously set as your global. Now, how can you modify this such that your global variable X remains 2 and you can find a way to have your local variable X here being 3? I can make a very simple adjustment to this. I'll create a function called play with numbers, just for sake of illustration. This is a function that I have declared. Okay, def is the keyword there, meaning define a function, play with numbers, and we will need to indent this appropriately and keep it within that function. Here, if you run this program again, your result is not going to be the same as what you had before. So how do we go about running this program? We need to call that function and say play with numbers. And when you run this function play with numbers, I expect to see a different result, which is amazing. So you see, this line 11 says global value of X is what we declared it to be. It is still 2. Okay, that's what you have in line 1. X is 2. But when you come within the function play with numbers, we have changed X to 3 there. But it does not tamper with the initial X that we had at the global level. This is a local X. This is a global X. And that's why when you are checking the result, you will see the result of 3 raised to power 1 is 3, 3 raised to power 2 is 9, and so on and so forth, because X is 3 in this context. So this is a local X, this is a global X. Now, how about the situation where you want these two to be used in here within your function? You do not want it to be two separate values of X in different segments of the code. It's pretty easy. What you then do here is to say, you bring in the word global, you remove the value that is assigned here. You bring in the word global and say the X that is being used in this equation is the original value of X, but I don't want you to assign any other value in here. So when you run this code, you will see, where is it? Run the code. Yep. The result shows you that global value of X is 2 as previously decided, but within the body of the code where we have used it, the global value is still retained, and that's why you see 2 raised to power 1 is 2, 2 raised to power 2 being 4, and so on and so forth. This is a global X being used supposedly at the local level, but in the previous example, when I didn't have global here, when I had X being 3, X is 3 here, it's a local variable and it has a local scope. It doesn't have a global scope because when you execute line 11, you will find 2 here rather than 3. But within this function, def play with numbers, X is going to be 3. So we need to be mindful of scope when we write programs because it may mess up the accuracy of our result if we are mindful of the way we declare variables. You can't just keep putting X everywhere or Y everywhere or whichever variable name you want to use. You must know which scope a particular variable has within a particular segment of the program. Otherwise, there'll be confusion and you may not get the desired result in the end. So as a quick recap, when you write programs, you can have two basic scope that your variables can take. They can take local scope, in which case their influence is restricted to the block where they have been created and assigned values, or they may have a global scope, in which case the values of X or any other variable that you have so declared will be seen across the entire program that you have written, regardless of the length of that program, and the value will remain consistent. And then we showed how you can override the scope of local variable if you want the global variable to still be used within the local scope. You need to simply bring in the word global with lower g, not capital G. This is a simple explanation of variable scope in Python. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things. If yes, click like, subscribe to the channel, and share your feedback. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.